day, grade 12 planners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. My name is Lydia Mahasha. This lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. Today's lesson will be based on World Time Zone Calculations, Part 2. Last time we did Part 1, which was the basic calculations. So today we'll be doing advanced calculations. So here we are. As you know that the time zones is a topic that will be assessed in the final examination, in the prelim, and in the control test that we'll be writing at school level. You need to know that it is in section B, and in section B, it will be on question 2. So make sure that you know that. You need to know the world time zones and how to calculate them when you're traveling between the countries. Also, you must be able to determine how to apply the ST to your calculation when you are being given different scenarios based on the countries that are practicing daylight savings time. You have to understand the impact of the time zones and the DST on travel planning. Most important, you have to show all the calculations when you are doing your time zones. Show all your calculations, as mark allocation is based on those calculations. I want us to look at our map again. This is a world time zone map. Let's look at our map. This map is the one that will be given. It will be provided to you in your question paper, whether you are writing a control test. You will be given this by your teachers. In the final and the prelims, it will be attached inside the question paper. This is the map. Look at the map. I'm sure by now you know how to go around the world time zone map. We have done that. You have to know in which direction you will be traveling from one place to another, from one country to another, one city to another. We have the eastern side, as you can see here. We have the western side. And that's the two directions that we're going to focus on when we are dealing with time zones calculations. We have to know this. And we will be also focusing on our ribbon. We talked about the map ribbon last time. You have to know this line, the UCT. You have to know the +1, +2 until +11. The same thing goes on our left side, the western side. We have -1, -2 until 11. You have to be aware of the different shades that we're having in the map. You must be able to know that we have the gray areas, we have the white ones, and they will assist in determining the time zone for each country. We have done this. Then, when we calculate, we are not going to use the calculator. We will be using the ribbon, the top of the map here, the top of the map. We'll be using this to calculate time difference. The time difference between the two places. From this area to that area, they differ with how many hours? We don't use a calculator. Then, when you come to your calculations in hours now, you're not going to use a calculator. Also, you need to use our 24-hour clock. This is our 24-hour clock. Always, it will be embedded in your map. You'll find it here. Please know how to use this. It will assist you a lot. So for today's lesson, I want to remind you about the ribbon. The top of the map looks like this, as you can see. And these are all the steps that you should follow when you calculate the time difference. You cannot go and calculate calculations, do calculation without starting with this step. You need to know how to calculate the time difference, not making a mistake. Because if you don't know, you will be one more or you will be one less, and it will affect your final answer, and you will get it wrong. So we'll do it again to remind you. Here we are. We have two places here. We have Johannesburg and New York. And the question said, number one, identify the cities mentioned in the question. We have New York and we have Johannesburg. So when we go back to our map, Johannesburg is in South Africa. It is in +2. Here it is. Here is Johannesburg here. You can see it now. Here's Johannesburg. You just go up. There we go. 2 + 2. This is Joburg. Then we go to New York. There is our New York. Our New York is here. Then you go up to -5. You have identified the two places, the two areas in the map. Then it says here, determine the applicable time zone from the map. Already we have done that. We have done that already. We are able to find that New York, it is in -5. And South Africa, Johannesburg, is in +2. We are able to find it. So now you have to count how many hours do the two countries differ in. So let's start. You put your finger here at +2. Then we go to the western side, or you can start here and go to the eastern side. It doesn't matter, because now we want the time difference. We don't want the direction here. So don't get confused on this one. So let's start here. We put our finger here. Then we go to 1. We say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. New York and South Africa, they differ with 7 hours time difference. You can start from New York, go back to South Africa, you'll still find that the time difference there is 7. There it is. You can see here, South Africa is here. Look at the red. It's South Africa +2. It's what we have done from the map. New York here with red, it's -5. You can see that also. Then you count from here to here. That's what we count. It's 1, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here they are. You've been given 7 time zones. Between South Africa and New York, there are 7 time zones. So this will assist you when you calculate time. This is the first step that you need to do. Here are the steps that I want you to remember. You write down the 2 cities mentioned in the question. It might be the cities, it might be the countries. So you must be able to identify these 2 from the map. Know your map. Then you add the time zone from the map. How do you add this? You add this by calculating it from one place to another, the one that has been given. And you calculate this on the map ribbon at the top. That's wherever you do this. It will be easier for you when you do at the top. Then write down the time mentioned in the question. Always analyze your scenarios. Analyze your scenarios, analyze the question, have a highlighter, have a different color pen, wherever you'll be analyzing, highlighting the most important facts that you're supposed to answer. Write down the time mentioned in the question. You'll always be given a time. Then here we are. You need to determine the direction. How are you going to determine the direction? If you move west to the city, to the other city, then you minus. Remember our map? then you minus what? You minus the time difference. Then if you move east to the other city, you add the time difference. That's what we have done. Then lastly, you count these hours on the 24-hour clock. You use the 24-hour clock. The one that is being embedded in the map, no calculator, so it will be easier for you to do that. For now, I want us to look at how to calculate flying time. We calculate flying time today. You start first by following all the steps that we have talked about when we're doing the basic calculations. The last time, even now, I've just reminded you. You start with the basic calculation steps. Then at the end, that's whereby you come to the flying time. We'll come to the flying time. So I want us to look at the scenarios. Let us do the questions. We are having one question here is activity 1. We are going to do this together to find out how to get the flying time from the calculation. When you move from one country, one place, one city to another, then here we have to determine the flying time, how long your flight took to arrive at another place. So remember our first rule. From the map, you take the 2 lines as they are. Here I have put mine. We have the 2 lines as they are. Then from here, a little twist for today. We'll be talking about the departure time. We'll be talking about the arrival time. That's what we'll be talking about. Here are the lines. The question says, Linda invited her friend Michelle from London in England to join her on a vacation in Bangkok, Thailand. Michelle is from London. Michelle departed London at 1900 hours on the 21st of September, 2023. She arrived in Bangkok, Thailand at 12 o'clock. When? 22nd September. Here's the question. Calculate the flying time from London to Bangkok. Calculate the flying time from London to Bangkok. Calculate the flying time, but here we have to show all the calculations. Consider DST in London. That's why I said that you have to highlight, you have to underline the most important things. Here you have to consider DST in London. We have done this last time. So the first step, remember we said that you have to identify and write the 2 places that are being given. And the 2 places that are being given here is London and Bangkok. So I want us to go to our map. When you go to our map, London, you start first, you move from the left. When you have to find the places, the same way as you are writing, you are moving from the left to the right when you find the places. So here we are. The first place that you come across is London. London is here at 0. That's the first place. Then we keep on moving. What place are we looking for? Bangkok. And we go there, and at +7, we have our second place, which is Bangkok. So the first one is London. You have to write it down. London is where? It's X0. Then the second one is what? It's Bangkok. Bangkok is in which time zone? +7. Here we are. But now the question said, consider GST, where in London. Even though we know that London is at X0, because of GST, it is going to be at +1. It will be at +1 because of what? We have added 1 GST. Remember to write this. So now London will do the calculations from +1. We said the easiest step, the easier way to calculate GST is at the beginning of your calculation. Don't do it at the end because you will forget about it. So here we are. And the easier way again is just go to our ribbon. We have done this last time. Your ribbon, London is at 0. Simply say that GST is whereby countries move their clocks forward by 1 hour during summer. You just do that. From the position of the country, their time zone, London is at 0, you just move to the next, which will be +1 for London. In case, if Bangkok at +7 was using GST, we'll just move forward and it will be at +8. But it's not doing that now. We are focusing on London. That's why I think that London is at +1. So the next thing, we have added the time zones at the top. So now we have to write the given time. What is the given time? We go there. It says here, Michelle departed London at 1900 hours. Michelle departed London at 1900 hours. So this is for departure. We write it here. Like I said, that the first here is for departure. It will be for departure. Then this will be for arrival. This will be for arrival. So she departed London at 1900 hours. When? 21 September. This is what has been given. It says that write the given time. And we have the given time. Then Thailand. She arrived in Bangkok, Thailand at 12 on the 22 September. So here it is for Bangkok. We don't write there at the departure, but we write here at arrival. They say that she arrived at 1200 when? 22 September. This is what we have been given from the scenario. Then, what's the next step? We have written there. The most important thing that we need to do, between the two places, we need to find out the time difference. How many hours do these two countries differ with? Remember our rule? You have to go to the map to calculate the time difference. Here we are. This is our map. You put your finger here. We have London. London, now we are not calculating at 0, but we are calculating from +1 because of GST. Because of GST, we are calculating from plus 1. So you put your finger there and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are 6 hours time difference between London and Bangkok. Yes, there are 6 hours between London and, where would we write it? You write it here. There are 6 hours time difference between London and Bangkok. What is the next step? Our next step, we have to look at what? We look at whether we are moving from west to east or east to west. You need to determine the direction. And here we are. We'll be determining the time, the direction from London to Bangkok. From London, they are moving, depart from London to Bangkok. So it means it will be moving from the west to the east. So if you are moving from the west to the east, it means you are adding. It means we are adding. It means we are adding here. What are we adding? We add the given time. We have been given the given time. Here it is. It is our 1900 hours. This is the London time. Plus what? The time difference. We said it's 6 hours. Time difference. What do we get? But before here, we have to go back to our time zone watch, the one that has been embedded inside the map. Here it is. We move from 19. This is our 19. We said 19. We add 6 hours time difference. Let's go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have added 6 hours. Yes, then we get 100 hours. Be aware before we go to our question that we passed midnight. And we passed midnight going clockwise. That's what happens now. So our answer here, 19 hours plus 6 hours time difference, we get 100 time. Where is this one, 01? It is in Bangkok. It is in Bangkok. Let me explain this. This is the first step. By the time it was 1900 hours in London, it was 100 in Bangkok. So this is the time like this, the same time. It is 19 in London and it is 100 where? In Bangkok. So now, the next step, we say that we calculate the time, the flying time now. How do we calculate flying time? It is 1 o'clock here in Bangkok. We move. This is our arrow here. It shows flying time, FT. It shows flying time. So we calculate from 100 hours to 1200 hours. How are we calculating this? We go back to our our clock. Let's go back to our clock. Here we are. We said that we calculate from 1. Here we are, from 1, from here to where? To here. Simple, simple. So let's check the hours in between. How long did the flight take? Here we are, it's 0. Put your finger here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 11 hours between 0100 and 1200. There are 11 hours. So it means our flight took 11 hours to move from one place to another. So let's check our question. Let's check what does our question say. Here we go. It says calculate the flying time from London to Bangkok. Show all the calculations. So here we are. Here it just says from 1 o'clock, 100 hours, to 1200 hours is equal to what? We got 11 hours flying time. This is how we do flying time. I'm sure we're following. Even though you had challenges there and there, we'll do the second one, whereby you'll correct the mistake that you have made from this one. You can even move from 1200 hours to 01 hour. You get the same answer. You get the same, which is 11 hours flying time. There is a lot of marks on this one. So please keep on practicing. Use previous question papers to practice on this one. Let's look at activity number 2 so that we see if we understood the first one or not. So here we go. It says, calculation of flying time. Mr. and Mrs. Graham reside in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They visited South Africa to take part in the Comrades Marathon. They departed from Riyadh on the 3rd June at 1100 hours and arrived at Wat Tambo International Airport at 1900 hours. So here we are. The first step, remember, you have to follow the steps. I'm sure now you have written the steps down, right? Because they will assist you. They will make your life to be easier when you are doing the calculations. Let's start with the first step again. It says here, write down the 2 cities. What are the 2 cities here? We have Riyadh from Saudi Arabia, and we have the country here, we have South Africa, the 2 places, here they are, the 2 cities or places or countries, here they are. We have found them. So from our map, let's go. Take our lines of longitude also. Remember, these ones, they must have the departure time. They must have departure time. They must have arrival time. That's a little twist that you need to remember. Here we are. We have put this. The 2 places here, they say it's Riyadh and South Africa. So I want us to go to our map to check where the 2 places are. South Africa, we all know by now. You must be able to identify South Africa anytime, anyway. South Africa is at +2. Here it is, +2. Then where is Riyadh? Check our Riyadh here. It is at +3. Riyadh is here, +3. Okay, guys, we have identified our 2 places and their time zones. So now we have, before we do this, let's go back to our map. Remember I said you always start from your left side to move to the right side to find your places. So here we are moving from this side. We are checking our places. We are checking our places. The first place that you come across is South Africa here, and you go up there. It is +2. Can you see how easy it was? So here it is South Africa at +2. Then you go back to our map. You check for Riyadh. There it is at +3. That's the next line. You take them as they are. You take them as they appear on the map. Then this one is +3. +3, it is for Riyadh. So these are the 2 steps that we have just identified on this one. What is the next step that we're supposed to do? After identifying the time zones, identifying the countries, the places, now you need to calculate the time difference between the 2 countries. The time difference between the 2 countries. There we go from our map. You move from +2 to +3. +2 to +3. It's only 1. It's 1 hour. It's 1 hour. Time difference between South Africa and Riyadh. It's 1 hour. So what is the next step? The next step is to find out the given time. What is the given time here? What is the given time here? What time did they give us on the question? Let's go back to our scenario. It says here, Mr. and Mrs. Graham reside in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They visited South Africa to take part in the Comrade Marathon. They depart from Riyadh on the 3rd of June at 11. Look at this. They depart from Riyadh on the 3rd of June. So remember I said to you, this little twist, whether we have depart and arrival, little things here. So they depart at Riyadh at 1100 hours. When? 3rd June. Here we are, we have put it where it's supposed to be. Then, what's the other time that has been given? And arrived. Highlight it. Arrived at OR Tambo. OR Tambo is Johannesburg, it's South Africa International Airport at 1900 hours. That's the given time. They say it's arrival. Remember I said the first is depart, the second is arrival. This is depart, this is arrival. So now, it says here on the scenario, they arrived at OR Tambo International Airport at 1900 hours. This is the given time. We've given this time. So here we are, our calculations are showing. The next step, we have to find out the direction. They say that they moved, they departed from Riyadh. So Riyadh is here on our right hand side. As you can see, this is our Riyadh. and they go to South Africa. This fight. I'm sure this is easy for you. They depart from here, Riyadh, on the eastern side, and they go towards the western side of the map to South Africa. So now, when you determine direction, it's from the east to the west. And the golden rule says that if they are moving from the east to the west, we subtract, we minus. That minus must be there. So here we are. What are we minusing? We are minusing the time difference. We are minusing the time difference. So here we are. We'll say, let's write it here. Our departure time, 1100 hours, minus our time difference. And our time difference is what? It's 1 hour. 1 hour time difference. Let's go to our clock, because we don't use the calculator, we use the clock. Here we are, we go to 11, there's 8, 9, 10, 11, here we are. From 1100 hours, we minus 1 hour. Remember, the clock is moving clockwise. Moving clockwise. When you add, it's clockwise. But when you subtract, when you minus, it's anti-clockwise. Okay? So here we are, here we say minus 1 hour time difference. We move from 11 hour 100, 1. You see? From here, we just minus 1 hour. And we arrive at 1000 hours. So this 10 hours, where did we put it? It is here at Johannesburg. Remember, the same time, I said it's the same time. When it is 11 here in Riyadh, it is 10 o'clock here in South Africa. That's what we've been counting. We haven't counted the flight time. We're just counting what time will it be in South Africa if it is 11 o'clock, 1100 hours in Riyadh. And we know that it will be 1000 hours in South Africa. So here it is. Our answer here is 1000 hours. Then from here, we move from, we have 10, remember the last step? We move from 10, the one that we have just calculated, 1000 hours, to 19 here, to 1900 hours. Just calculate, we need to calculate the flying time here. From 1000 hours to 1900 hours. Let's go to our clock. If you are still listening, here we are. We start, we said that we are moving from 10. What is our 10? This is our 10. Let's start this so that you can see. Okay, here we are. We are at 10. From 10, we move from 10 to 19 hours. It will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hours flying time. You can't even move from 19 to 10. It's kind of same. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours flying time. So to calculate flying time is Very much simple. You just need to start afresh, start with the basic calculation. Then if you start with basic calculations, you will be able to master this. So it is 9 hours flying time. We have answered our question here. The flying time from Riyadh to Johannesburg is 9 hours. I hope this is clear. Keep on practicing. Use your previous question papers. You'll end up mastering this. So these are the examples of the flying time that we have done. I want us to do the next one, which is the departure time. Let's calculate departure time. Departure time. When did you depart from that place? Let's calculate the departure time. And the thing here, still the same. You need to be patient. You need to do all the steps. Then you'll master this. For you to get the departure time, you'll be minusing flying time. From this, you need to start from the basic calculation. We start with basic calculation. Then after doing the basic calculation, the way we have done them, step by step, I'm sure you've written the steps down. Then from your answer, you just minus the flying time. There you go. There is nothing difficult about time zones as long as you start with the basic calculation. So let's look at the examples here. Let's put this together again to determine if you understand the departure time. The question here says, Linda invited her friend Michelle from London. First place here, it's London. In England, to join her on a vacation where? Bangkok again, Thailand. Then, Michelle arrived in Bangkok, Thailand on 22nd September 2023. At what time? 1200 hours. 1200 hours. And the flying time is 11. Flying time is 11 hours. Before you can even look at what the question wants, you need to highlight what is in the scenario. So we have highlighted the places, we have highlighted the time, we have highlighted the flying time. So now we go to the question. The question says, calculate the departure time. We want departure time, like I said, from London. Consider DST in London. Show all your calculations. This is what I talked about when we started with the lesson. That you have to show all the calculations. Consider DST. They will always tell you if you have to work with DST, you will see this. So now, let's start. Remember the first thing that we do? We have to go to our map to find London and Bangkok. We go to our map, we find London and Bangkok. Already by now, you know that London is at 0, there it is, but because we are moving, when you calculate DS and the countries using DS, it's practicing DS, you don't have to confuse yourself. Just move one step forward. So London is here at 0, and we move where? Here, to +1. So for this calculation, London will be using the +1 time zone. And where is our Bangkok? Bangkok, we've done this, it's at +7. So there they are. We have Bangkok and we have London at +1. When we are moving from the map, the first line that we came across, it was the +1 line. This is for London. To come across this. Why are we saying that London is at +1, whereas we know it is at 0? Because, you write this in bracket, because we have added +1 GST. So if you have done this, you got a certain mark, because you have clearly indicated that we are now looking at London at +1 because of the DST that we have added. Then we have our second line, which is +7 for Bangkok. Already we have done the 2 steps. We have identified the areas, the places. We have identified the time zone. So now we have to determine the time. We have to find out the given time from the calculation. So here we are. We look there at the scenario again. The first time that we see that, we say that Michelle arrived in Bangkok, Thailand on 22 September 2023 at 1200 hours. So that's the first time, the time that we've been given. Where? Bangkok. So here it is. We write it here. It is 1200 hours. This is Bangkok. Next. Yes, here we are. Then, after writing the given time, what do we need to do? We need to find the time difference between the 2 places. These 2 places. How many hours do they differ with? The hours between them. Let's go to our map. Here we are. We are from +1. From +1, which is London, DST time. Then we say 0. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are 6 hours. We have 6 hours time difference between Bangkok and London. We have 6 hours time difference between Bangkok and London. So now the issue is here. Do we minus or do we add? How do we determine this? By the direction. So let's look in our map. Here is our London. Here is our Bangkok. We move from this side, the western side, to the eastern side. Bangkok is in the eastern side of London. So if we move there, it means we 8. Okay? So here we are, back to our question. Let's go back to our question. Let's read the scenario so that you understand it. You know exactly when to add, when to minus. Let's read our scenario, okay? There we are. It says Michelle arrived in Bangkok, Thailand on 22nd, 12 o'clock. So remember the golden rule. Don't make this mistake. Remember the golden rule, which says that you always move from the known to the unknown. So here we were. We have the time here. This is the known time. And here we don't know the time for here. So from our map, I said that if we move from this side to the eastern side, we'll be adding. But if you move from this side to the western side, will be minusing. So we have been given the time for Bangkok. We don't know the time for London. So it means we'll be moving from Bangkok to London. Don't let that confuse you. So if we move like this, from the known to the unknown, our question mark is here, then it means you move from here to the west. So our sign must be visible. That will be minusing the time difference from the given time. I hope we are still together. Then let's write it down. Let's write it down. We have 12 hours, 1200 hours, which has been given. Then we minus what? We minus our time difference, which is 6 hours time difference. This is the step that we do. Then from this, we go to our clock. Remember, we don't use the calculator, we use the clock. Here we are. We are at 1200 hours, and we want to minus what? The time difference, which is 6 hours. Let us not forget that. So from here, we move backwards since we are minusing. We move anti-clockwise. So let's minus 6 hours time difference from this. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have minus 6 hours, and we arrive where? We arrive at 0600 hours. That's our answer here. It will be 0600 hours. Where? Here at London. So we are answering this question. Next, 0600 hours. So now, what are we supposed to do now? After finding this, remember our main issue here is to find the departure time. When did Michelle leave London? That's the question. So here we are. We write this here. The 0600 hours. We know that one, it is where? It is in London. Like we have mentioned, it is in London. Remember the golden rule? We always minus the flying time to get the departure time. So here we are saying 0600 hours minus our flying time. How long was our flight? Our flight was 11 hours. So here we have to include 11 hours flying time. Please include that. So we minus here 11 hours flying time. And what do we get? No calculator. We don't use the calculator. We have to go to our clock. Let's minus from our clock. Let's minus from our clock. Here we are in our clock. We say that it is 0600 hours, 80 hours, 0600 hours. We minus what? Minus 11 hours flying time. So remember, when we are minusing, we always go anti-clockwise. We don't go clockwise. So here we are. Let's count 11 hours from 600 hours. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this is our 11 hours that we calculated from 6 o'clock. Then we get what? 1900 hours. Before we go to our scenario, our question there, I want you to look at this. We have went beyond midnight. 0000 hours. We passed midnight. Going where? Backward. When you go backward, it means you are losing a day. So we pass midnight going backward. So whatever date we are having in our scenario, it means we have to minus a day because we passed midnight going backward. Let's go back to our scenario and see. We said here 0600 hours minus 11 hours flying time. We have 1900 hours. Then now we want the date because the date here, Michelle arrived in Bangkok on the 22nd of September. But remember, because we were going back in time, we passed midnight. So it is no longer the 21st, but it's no longer the 22nd, but it is the 21st. So our answer here will be the 21st September 2023. This is our departure time. This is our departure time. We have calculated our departure time. We know that Michelle left London at 19 hours 21 September 2023. Okay? I hope it makes sense now. Let's do the second example, which will be the last one. And I hope this one will be able to understand the departure time. Okay? There we go. Two sport fanatics. We have two sport fanatics departed from Riyadh to Melbourne. Already we have identified our two places. We have identified Riyadh, we have identified Melbourne. They arrived in Melbourne at 800 hours. And that's the time. There is the time. We have identified the time. When? 18 January. And the flying time was 17 hours. Already we know what we are going to work with. Here's the question. Calculate the departure time and date from Riyadh. And B, note, Melbourne practice the FT. So this is what we are supposed to do. This is what we are supposed to do. The departure time. So remember what you're supposed to do when you calculate the departure time. You go to our maps, you identify the two places, Melbourne and Riyadh. This is our map. Then Riyadh is at +3. Riyadh is at +3. And Melbourne is at +10. There it is. There it is, Melbourne +10. But because of DST, remember they said that Melbourne practices DST. So it will be at +11. So Riyadh is here and Melbourne is at +11 because it practices DST. It is no longer at +10. So the two lines of longitude, here they are. Here they are. We have our departure. We have our arrival. We want to find the departure. And the two lines already we have found them. We have found that Riyadh is at +3. At +3, it's what? It's Riyadh. Then at +11 is Melbourne. And remember this +11, where did we get this +11 from? We got it from adding 1 hour DST. Next. So your calculation has to look like this for now. Then we have our flying time, 17 hours. Flying time. We have identified the areas, we have identified the time difference. Now we need to identify the direction. Not the direction, but the time difference between the two. The time difference between Riyadh and Melbourne. Let's go to our maps. Here they are. We've identified this. We move from +3 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's 8 hours. They differ in 8 hours. So we have 8 hours time difference between Riyadh and Melbourne. Now, identify the given time and plot it where it's supposed to be. What is the given time here? It says they arrive in Melbourne at 800 hours. There it is. So it is where arrival in Melbourne. So arrival here will be 0800 in Melbourne. This line is the line for Melbourne. They arrive at 800 hours. So remember the golden rule about the direction. Now we have to identify, we have to determine the direction. It says you always move from the known to the unknown. we know the time that has been given, which is for Melbourne. So we'll be moving from Melbourne to Riyadh. So if we move from the east to the west, you minus. Yes, move from the east to the west, you minus. So we'll be minusing the time difference from the arrival time. Let's put it down. We have 0800 hours arrival time in Melbourne minus 8 hours time difference. Yes, remember, minus this time difference. So we are not going to say 8 minus 8. No. Golden rule, you go back to your clock, the 24-hour clock, and you do your calculation. For us not to forget, we just state it here. We have said 0800 minus 8 hours time difference. So here we are from our clock. This is our 800 hours. Here we are. From our 800 hours, we have to minus what? 8 hours time difference. There we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we arrive at midnight. Let's go back to our calculations. The answer here will be 00, 100 hours. There it is. 00, 100 hours. We are not yet done because we need the departure time. Because this 00 is the arrival time. When it was 8 o'clock here in Melbourne, 0800 hours in Melbourne, it was midnight in Riyadh. This is the story. So now we want the departure time here. We want the departure time. When did they leave? When did they depart from Riyadh? There we are. We say 00, 100 hours minus flying time. Remember I said that you always minus flying time when you are doing departure time. So it will be how many hours? It's 17 hours. 17 hours flying time. Then we need to go to our clock to count this. On our clock, we need to move. We need to minus flying time because we always minus flying time. Yeah? So here we are. It is 100 minus flying time, which 17 hours. There we are. We go straight to midnight. Here we are in midnight. Then since we are minusing again, it means we'll be going anti-clockwise. We are going anti-clockwise. So we minus how many hours? 17 hours. From 00, 100. There we are. Number 1 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 hours from 00, 100 hours. So we get to 07 hours. Let's go back to our scenario. 100 hours minus 17 hours flying time. Then we get 0700 hours. When? Remember here it says it was at Melbourne, they arrived on the 18th, and since we have passed midnight going backwards. So we have lost a day, which means now it is 17 January. Calculate the departure time and date from Riyadh. The departure time is 0700 17 January. That's our calculation. So I hope now you understand what are the calculations or the method that you need to do when you are doing departure time and the flying time. So now we are done with the calculations. I hope you keep on practicing. Get the previous question papers, work through them until you master it. So for now, I want us to look at the jet lag and the jet fatigue. We were unable to complete this last time, but here we are. I want us to look at jet lag and jet fatigue. The two concepts, jet lag and jet fatigue, they are both being experienced after flying from one place to another. When you're in the flight, at the end of your journey, you will either experience jet lag or jet fatigue. It will depend on how long you have been in your flight or how many time zones you have crossed for you to experience one of these. So this is jet lag. You can see the person is so tired. It is disruption of a normal biological rhythm after high speed travel. So now I want us to look at the jet lag definition. When you talk about jet lag, it's extreme. I want you to understand this with extreme tiredness. It is not just when you say you're tired, but this one is extreme tiredness and other physical effects that you will be feeling after a long flight, crossing many time zones. That will be jet lag. That extreme tiredness and physical effect. You will feel those symptoms. We'll talk about them at a later stage. Then we have jet fatigue. Jet fatigue is just tiredness. Tiredness. Jet lag, we said extreme, but this one is just tiredness. And it's caused by long distance travel. Long distance travel, spending many hours in an aeroplane. Jet fatigue, you will experience this when you travel across few time zones, minimum of three, from 0 to 3, not more than that. And this tiredness, it does not affect your body, your internal body clock, like the jet lag. You'll just feel tired, but not extremely tired. I want us to look at the difference between the two. Jet lag, we say it's after a very long flight. And both of them, they are after a long flight. But here comes the difference. The jet lag, you'll be crossing many time zones. That's the jet lag. Whereas the jet fatigue, you'll be crossing few time zones. Then here on jet lag is when we're especially crossing the time zone from east to west, and you'll be moving against the rotation of the air. Look at the example. Jet lag. When you move from Japan to New York, it will be east to west. Rio to Sydney, west to east. Then, jet fatigue. Like we said, it's few time zones. Examples include moving from Joburg to London. So these are the differences between the two. Let's recap what we have just learned. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. It says jet fatigue or jet lag. Jet fatigue or jet lag. Determine whether the tourist will experience jet lag or jet fatigue on flight AB. Flight AB. The person will be moved from flight A, B. You can see the direction from A to B. What will the traveler or the tourist experience there? It will be jet lag. The traveler will experience jet lag. And as you can see, the person is moving from east to west. And he said that if you're moving from the east to the west, you will experience jet lag. And look at the map. Look at the map. Is it faint? But you can see the time zones here. We're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 time zones that the flight has crossed. That's another reason to motivate. They have crossed many time zones. So now you have seen the difference between jet lag and jet fatigue. You will feel symptoms. There will be symptoms that you'll be feeling when you are traveling from one place to another in a plane, in a flight. You will have sleep problems. All of these are associated with jet lag. You will have sleep problems. You won't be able to fall asleep or wake up early. It's either you'll be struggling with falling asleep, or you will have a challenge, a problem when you have to wake up in the morning because of jet lag. You will have daytime fatigue. You will feel that tiredness. These are the symptoms. You will feel that tiredness. You are not going to be able to focus or function at your usual level because you will be feeling jet lag. Your stomach will always give you problems. You will end up having diarrhea or you will end up having constipation. But those are the physical symptoms that we feel. In general, your general feeling of not feeling well, you just feel that you're not feeling well at all. You will have mood swings. You will have mood swings, being unhappy, angry, all those things, mood swings. You're not going to have one mood. What I've just talked about, let's recap again. Let's look at this picture. Let's look at the picture. Still the same picture. You can see from A to B, but the question says, list any 2 symptoms that a tourist may experience after flight AB from here to here. So you need to list the 2 symptoms only that a tourist may experience after flight AB. We refer back to the question that we have talked about. The first one, we know that You will feel tiredness, you will feel fatigue, you will have nausea, headaches, we have mood swings, everything that we have talked about. So please go through this. Then now I want us to look at the ways to minimize jet lag. There are ways whereby you can minimize. We don't say that you are going to stop. We don't say that you are going to, deal with it. But now it's just to minimize it. That the effects are not extreme. The effects are just manageable. Then they are divided into categories. The first category is before the flight. Before the flight, make sure that you eat healthy. Eat healthy food that will make your body to be healthy. And you need to exercise as much as possible. Exercise before the flight. Rest as much as possible so that when you get that extreme tiredness, your body can be able to withstand those symptoms. Go to sleep and get up early every morning so that your body will get used to that. Then we have during the flight, when you are in your flight, there are things that you need to do to minimize extreme tiredness. You need to drink lots and lots and lots of water to keep your body hydrated. When your body is dehydrated, it's easier for you to get tired. But drinking a lot of water, your body will be hydrated and will be able to withstand those extreme tiredness, those symptoms. You'll be able to withstand them. Stay away from coffee and alcohol because we know that they dehydrate the system, they dehydrate the body. Stay away from alcohol, stay away from coffee. Also, within there, you need to eat healthy food. Even if it's not easy, but try to sleep. During your flight, just try to sleep. Will minimize the effect of jet lag. If possible, walk through or walk down the aisle at least once an hour. Don't sit there throughout your journey. Just take a walk on the aisle and your body will be able to feel lighter. We have after the flight, what are you supposed to do? Now it's after. You've taken the flight, you are feeling jet lag, your body is extremely tired. First thing that you need to do, you need to adapt to the local schedule as soon as possible. If the time difference between them and the place where you're coming from is differing in many hours, you need to make sure that you need to adjust to their local schedule and try to establish sleeping patterns according to their times. You were used to sleeping at this time, but now the time difference between your place and where you are is 7 hours. When you're supposed to be waking up, according to them, you have to sleep. So you need to adjust to those times. And you'll have to take a few days of rest, if possible, so that your body can recover from that. All of this is what you need to do. The things that you've talked about, drink a lot of water, planning ahead. These are all the things that we talk about how to minimize the effect of jet lag. Then we have activity 3. Activity 3 is about study the picture below, select 2 pictures. Select 2 pictures below. Select 2 pictures and explain how the golden couple can minimize the effect of jet lag during and or after the flight. Related to each picture, write the letter of the selected picture A to D and your explanation. I want you to go through the picture. You can see that picture number 1. We have the glasses there. In short, it's alcohol. You can see it's alcohol. Picture number A. Then picture number B, we have water. Picture number C, we have a person who is resting, sleeping. Picture number D, we have the time. So it says here, select two pictures and explain how the golden couple can minimize the effect of jet lag. Picture number A, and here it says during and after. So picture number A, don't drink any alcohol beverages during or after. Don't drink any. Then we have number B is water. Drink a lot and lot of water. Drink a lot and lot of water is what we have talked about here. Then number C also is part of that. Try to sleep during your flight, and after, try to relax as much as possible. Then number D also is part of that, all of them. It says here, we have the time in New York, so try to change your time to be to the schedule of the country that you are visiting. So this is the activity that you need to go through from the previous question papers. You'll be able to understand the difference between jet lag and jet fatigue, the symptoms associated with both of them, and the ways how you can minimize them. Keep practicing the time zones. Do your calculations, all your calculations, and you will pass that calculation. Thank you.